A very significant development has taken place. The Tata Group will manufacture iPhones in India not only for domestic but also international use. Some of you must be thinking that will the price of iPhone go drastically down? We will talk about that. But also it is all a part of the China Plus One strategy. Also, why has India emerged as the top option for this particular move? We are going to talk about the significant shift in Apple's strategy and also about the challenges that Apple may face in India when it comes to manufacturing. Also from the perspective of whatever you need for the UPSC examination, I provide the notes on my Telegram channel, Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries, you can talk to me on my Instagram, follow me on my threads. So I have already introduced you to the news. Let's go to the details. India has emerged as one of the options for Apple's iPhone production, and Tata Group under that is set to manufacture the devices in the country for both domestic and international use. The project will be completed within 2.5 years. The government will support the Tata Group and other Indian electronics companies who are associated with it. Right now, we know that China is the major hub of manufacturing for iPhone, approximately 95%. But we are also witnessing large-scale protests against Apple by the Chinese worker. Other than this, the strained relationship between China and USA, these are all caused that now China Plus One strategy is being explored. What is the China Plus One strategy? China Plus One strategy is that any foreign company must wean away from China and invest into other countries in South Asia. That means the supply chain that is there in China is okay, but we also have to look for other markets. So that is why China Plus One strategy. And India was seemingly missing out on this. Vietnam was gathering a lot of benefit from the China Plus One strategy, but now India has also been getting benefits. Many reasons are there. We will talk about that as well. The deal was finalized after Taiwan-based Wistron Corp, which is a contract manufacturer for Apple. They granted the approval for the sale of its India unit to Tata Group. So the Indian unit of Wistron Corp will now be Tata's, and this will be at a cost of $125 million. Tata Group will own 100% stake in Wistron Infocom Manufacturing Private Limited. Moving on. See, generally this significant shift that I was talking about, generally it was China on which Apple has relied for the manufacturing. But the ongoing trade war that has been going on since time immemorial now between US and China, also the world is becoming more polarized in nature again. Also, the war with respect to Israel and all the things are actually weighing heavily on the trade. That is why Apple is now looking towards other countries as well. And because of the rising Chinese labor cost, Apple is looking towards a market which is going to provide it a skilled market, a skilled wage worker, but still at a lower cost. So consumer market, first of all, India has a good consumer market. We all are digitally empowered. Everyone, almost every one of us has a smartphone. First that means it can sell a lot here. Other than this, we have skilled workforce, both for manufacturing and the technical. Also, there are favorable government policies which the government has rolled out, which has made it possible for Apple to look towards India. Apple has been also assembling iPhones in India since 2017, and it started with iPhone SE. And assembly of iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus also has been done locally. But there is a lot of difference between just assembling and manufacturing. So Apple was already making between 5 to 7% of its products in India. India overtook China this year when it comes to population. That means consumers plus skilled workforce. Also, India is Asia's third largest economy. It has a growing domestic market. Also, India's growing consumer base might give it an edge over Vietnam. That is why India has become a top priority in the China Plus One strategy for Apple. Alright, moving on. The Indian government has also rolled out certain policies which are giving a boost to manufacturing. India accounts for 16% of the global smartphone production. When we talk about China, it is a whopping 70%. Samsung is a success story in India. We will talk about that as well. In India, 20% of the Samsung's global production takes place. In 2018, Samsung opened what it called as world's largest mobile factory in Noida. So Samsung, of course, benefited a lot with this particular move. Apple is eyeing the market correctly. Apple devices are manufactured in India by Taiwan's Foxconn. You have to remember that. Advantage, first advantage, employment. Lot of employment opportunities will be provided to skilled and unskilled, both, because the raw materials that Apple needs to manufacture its phones and other products, of course it will also be depending upon other raw materials. So it's a chain. It will become a manufacturing chain. For India, the most beneficial it will be for the manufacturing sector. In manufacturing, we are lagging behind as compared to agriculture and services sector. For India, it is going to be a boon. Industry, more industrial development will take place. That means more economic, special economic corridors and hotspots, which is completely dedicated to the manufacturing of Apple, will develop. That means more and more people will be engaged in this industry. Technology, not only will India learn manufacturing capabilities, but also technologically India will be having an edge over other countries in South and Southeast Asia. Brain drain curve will happen. As we know that in many MNCs, most of the India's populations, whenever it wants to work not in India but somewhere else. But what happens with this particular move, India will look like a hub. India will become a hub for foreign direct investment, and similarly it will attract its own brain to itself and will not let brain drain happen. Brain drain is when talented population of Indian origin or Indian citizens, they go to some foreign land and they contribute there in their growth. So India has to make that come down. But there are challenges because manufacturing in India, it constitutes only 14% of the GDP. So this is a specific challenge. Also, if we compare ourselves to China, when China had to make infrastructure, it did it. India lagged behind. The infrastructure which gives seamless connectivity between ports, railways, roads, but India is still ongoing with that. We are in a nascent phase. We are not in a mature phase. So that has to be there. Apple will face a lot more red tapeism in India if it wants to create sprawling Chinese style campuses. China had provided certain campuses, as I told you, hotspots. India, because it is a democracy, it becomes really hard for real estate to be acquired. Unlike China, of course, we know one party dominance is there because of the political structure. So these are the certain challenges that Apple may face. But of course, with respect to an overall vantage point, I must say that this is a good move. We have to ensure that it is sustainable in nature, and also government can roll out certain other policies as well. So notes will be provided. Thank you so much for watching.